Prime Minister Mark Carney's new cabinet was sworn in today at Rideau Hall, and it does feature some new faces and familiar ones in new roles. TV24's Jamie Gutfreund joins us live from the newsroom with the details. Jamie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bakari. And one thing that Prime Minister Carney said that he wanted to do is have a balance of experience mixed with a lot of the newcomers. He's got 28 full-time cabinet ministers, noticeably smaller than the 37 ministers that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had back in 2021. And with more reaction to the class of 2025, I want to bring in Bob Richardson, principal with Hammersmith Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us, Bob. First off, I want to get your reaction to today's appointments, and were there any big surprises on your end?
I thought it was a solid cabinet. He dropped 10 people. He added 15. That's substantial change for an incumbent government to do all that. I think he was trying to do things. One, emphasize change and renewal. Two, emphasize that he wants the government to be more of a centrist government versus the Trudeau government that was perceived to be a little bit more left. And I think he wants to have a real focus on action-oriented decisions. Liberals sometimes can get mired in process and forget about the outcomes. I think this guy is really focused on outcomes, and I think that's what Canadians are looking for.
And he made a promise that he wanted to have some newcomers, that he wanted this to be a government of change. When you look at some of the new names, Marjorie Michel, new Minister of Health, we've got Tim Hodgson, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources. These are some very important portfolios.
Yeah, but Gregor Robertson, the former mayor of Vancouver, in housing, and a raft of others. So I think it is a good mix between experienced cabinet ministers and some newcomers that will add fresh blood to the administration.
Some of the criticism that is surfacing, we're hearing from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, and this was also addressed in the questioning of Prime Minister Mark Carney when it comes to housing minister. Obviously, we are dealing with the housing crisis, and we have MP Gregor Robertson, former mayor of Vancouver from 2008 to 2018. Under his watch, housing prices increased 149%, taxes went up 141%, not to mention a 600% increase in overdose deaths. What message do you think that sends to Canadian people when you have a housing minister who is essentially in charge of making the value of real estate in Vancouver the most expensive in the entire country?
Well, this is the only portfolio where I shook my head a bit. Nate Erskine-Smith, the MP in the Beaches, was doing a good job as housing minister. He had a good handle on the issue. Housing is critical in the Greater Toronto area, and they went ahead and made a significant move. It's a bit of too many people have been housing minister, and we needed some consistency there. So if I had one criticism of this cabinet shuffle, I think that would probably be it.
Bob, I'll push back a little bit on that when it comes to the appointment of Gary Anandasangri. For the last couple of years, and not only have we been dealing with a crisis in crime, we've been hearing specifically from law enforcement about bail reform. And when it came to the bail system, Gary mentioned, he was on record saying the issues around the bail system were, quote, quite sound. I'm wondering, how do you think the law enforcement sector is going to respond to the appointment of Gary Anandasangri?
Well, I think, number one, they should give Gary an opportunity to be the minister. Let's see what he does in terms of bail reform. Let's see how he works with the province, how he works with police forces, because there are obviously some significant issues there, and the government has to tackle them. So I would suggest let's have a look and see how he does now that he has the job, now that he's in the portfolio.
The Prime Minister also announcing 10 secretaries of state, not the first Prime Minister to split his cabinet in this way. What's your take on that?
It's a good use of people's time, and there are issues there that are important. Here in the Greater Toronto area, Adam Van Koeverden is going to be the sports minister. We've got the World Cup coming up in 2026, and we need folks to be focused on that in the federal government. So I think it's terrific that Adam's going to be there. There's an example of one issue.
There we go. Bob Richardson, always appreciate your time and perspective. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jamie.